Welcome to the D Shift podcast, where we provide inspiration, motivation, and education to help you transition from the challenges of divorce to discover the freedom and ability to live life on your own terms. Are you ready? Let's get this shift started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the D Shift podcast. And I have a returning guest today. Well, at least somebody I've had the honor and privilege of interviewing before through my divorce discussions YouTube presentation. So today I invited Vivianne Winters Israel back again to talk a little bit more in depth about her area of expertise, which is on having some of these self-care tools that are so important for dealing with resilience. But before we get into that, let me talk a little bit about Vivianne. She is a registered nurse of over 45 years. She is a American Biographical Institute's Golden Lifetime Achievement Award winner. She is a breast cancer survivor, a mom, an exotic animal trainer. She's a speaker, a self-published author, and also a best-selling author. So Vivianne, welcome. I am so glad that you are here today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to get to be back with you and your other audience. This is spectacular.
Yeah, and we're really going to drill down on because you have some amazing resources and a really new way of looking at self-care that I think is so important for women in particular going through any kind of challenges to hear. But before we get into all that stuff, tell us a little bit about you, because I know I just barely touched on all the amazing things that you've done and why this is now your area of focus in helping women.
Well, you pretty well covered everything. Well, why this is now my focus, something I wanted to do when I retired was to write books for children, to give them like a kid's eye view of countries, other peoples, the vibrancy of people around the world. And I was looking forward to that. And then things changed with the pandemic. Some things happened earlier than expected. But because of the pandemic, I wanted to up-level what my books were going to be. And I wanted to market these children's books through schools, the teachers, as a one-to-many, because I wanted impact to help kids work through the increased social emotional challenges of the pandemic. But I also wanted to know what the teachers needed, what would be benefit to the teachers. And in doing that research, was horrified by the escalation of overwork, stress, not being listened to, loss of personal time, danger just even going to school depending on where they work. So I need to do something for the teachers that happens before the books start coming out. And I didn't want to be writing books about that. So I thought I need to do speaking. I'll speak on that. That's, a little more connecting. And I think that'll be great. Well, but it's also for homeschooling parents and parents that aren't homeschooling need it, overworked workers. A lot of people needed this. So I just needed to put on my big girl panties and figure out how to just start speaking so that I could reach more people instead of the one here or there person that I would come across in life and tell them about it. Because I'd find that they didn't know about the tools that I had been using in my own life. But back when I discovered these tools, I didn't really even know what they were.
Yeah.
Having gone through different life crises, some big ones, there was such a big difference between not having any self-care tools and having true, powerful self-care tools. And I would hate to see anybody have to go through a crisis without them.
Well,
they have at least one.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like you can plan your life. I mean, I know this from experience. You can plan your life. You can have your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, your whatever, but you don't know when these crises are going. Nobody saw 2020 happening and COVID.
No,
well, they did, but only in the movies. Nobody thought it was really going to happen. Right. And then we don't see things like tragedies in communities. We don't see sudden health issues that come up. We don't see a divorce that comes out of the blue. We don't see, so many other things, loss of a job. Yes. Those things are not on our radar. And then,
Exactly. They're not on a radar. You get
yeah,
drop kicked into them.
yeah.
Yes.
And then they happen. And then it's like, oh no, what do I do now? So let's talk a little bit about how most people, because I know that you wanted people to handle these crises different than they've done in the past.
Mhm.
So maybe can you give us a sense of, first of all, what it is that you have discovered through dealing with your own challenges, crises, unplanned events in life, and how that made, like, how that really made a significant change for you?
Well, a couple of things. One, and I refer to this as self-care. Out in our world, me time seems to be what people think self-care is. Some personal time. Okay, don't bother mom now. This is her time to do what she's going to do, or I'm going to do a spa, or I'm going to do a mani-pedi, or I'm just going to go sit on the beach somewhere in a park so nobody bothers me. Nothing's wrong with me time. Me time is great, but that is not the kind of growing, building, become second nature to you self-care that's going to help you work through a life crisis and just also enhance your everyday life.
Right.
And
Yeah.
these me time is something that people may do here and there. True self-care, you need to make a practice of it.
Right.
There are many different self-care. Meditation usually comes to mind for people, but not everybody works with that. It doesn't work for everybody. Some people have a lot of challenges in it. They don't know if they're doing it, or if they're doing it, they don't think they're doing it right. And it seems to be hard for them to get into this space. And so then it's not relaxing and beneficial. It becomes another stress that they're trying to make
Exactly.
time for.
Yeah.
And in my one of my early and adult life, medium adult life, big crises was a physical crisis, a physical crushing injury, and I was terrified. I was determined to get back to work, but how I went about that turned out to be a bit toxic. It wasn't healthy for me. Took about a year. I did make it back to work, but I work critical care nurse, so I do heavy things, moving people around, because they don't really move themselves. um, and I got there, but within 20 minutes, I knew I couldn't, this wasn't sustainable. I'd worked so hard to get there. I was so sure I'd be able to do it, but little things that are way below my usual physical level of stuff were causing me to sweat literal bullets, which I used to think was just a cartoon term. It's actually really happens. And it wasn't until I had gone through that experience, gone through all this horrid pain beginning, and gone through this experience as like, okay, I worked so hard to get back to this level of pay and everything so I could take care of my daughter because it was just she and I. But I really can't. This is not healthy. This is
Yeah.
badly not healthy. I have to find a different way. But I wasn't able to even expand my awareness into there could be another way to do this, to do
Right.
my nursing and utilize all my experience and my knowledge and my certifications and whatnot. Then 11 years later, I ended up with a very not good metastatic breast cancer diagnosis. And it came to me in a very inappropriate way. They called me at work, no prelude, you've got metastatic breast cancer. Well, this is great. I hope I don't get an emergency call in the next couple of minutes because I
Yeah. Yeah.
process this. But my experience of hearing that, which was on a larger, potentially terminal level than my physical injury of years ago, I wasn't stuck in fear. The fear wasn't as dark. I was able to start working and thinking on me, on what I needed to do, making lists of ideas of what kind of information do I need to go find. So instead of stagnating in fear and why me and what am I going to do and how am I going to take care of my daughter, I was actually in motion before I got home,
Right. Right.
which was very different. I didn't know why it was different, but I was wondering why it was different. As I started looking into this, I realized that an audio technology that I'd been using for several months prior to getting this nasty news was It's called HoloSync. It's a multi-layered audio technology, binaural, so you need to listen to it with stereo headphones. It had baked into my DNA. I had been using it every day for months. Why was I using this when I didn't know that it was doing this for me? Because I'm a lifelong learner. Many things fascinate me that I want to learn about and know, and I want them to stay in my brain. So I was working to expand my consciousness, my memory capacity, recall, all these things. But this technology, it what am I trying to say? It activates the executive functions of your brain at the same time it's calming the areas of your brain that are responsible for procrastination. Um, why am I blanking on this? Procrastination, I could say inappropriate thinking. Why
Yeah,
I
like
think the proper word
stress
or not.
response and all that kind of stuff, right? It
Yes,
calms all that.
all the chaos generators, it calms them. So this happens at the same time. And while I had heard that in the very beginning of studying, it really didn't kick into me. I just wanted the brain stuff.
Right.
That had baked into my DNA. It had baked into my operating system. I didn't have to call it up. It was right there to serve me to move through this crisis.
Right. And
Entirely different from the previous time. And it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
this is incredible. And where are there more of this somewhere? I need to go find more of this.
Right. And I think that, for some people who are listening in, I've got to say, I use a similar kind of technology that I've been using for a while. And it's particularly effective for helping me go to sleep at night, where you
Mhm.
literally, it does work best with headphones. You can't listen to it just with your phone because really requires the different sounds levels coming in each ear. But what I've heard it say is that it really helps the right and left side of the brain function together as an entity, so that once one part, like your limbic system, your stress response, doesn't flood the rest of your brain, and then your brain goes,
Exactly.
oh my god, I've got to survive. It keeps all, like, your frontal cortex, which is your thinking part of your brain, it keeps all
Yes.
of that stuff in balance. And it's kind of weird music. Like, that's the best way to describe it. It's not like a tune, but it's just
No.
different sounds and different beats that aren't, they're asynchronous between the two sides of your head, your headphones. And it
Yeah.
does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's very pleasant. It's not unpleasant. And
No, you're right. It's not
yeah.
unpleasant.
And so the last time we talked, we really got into this because this is fascinating. This all has to do with neuroplasticity and
Mhm.
keeping your brain young and keeping your brain functioning well. So talk a bit more about this, Vivianne, and just, can you explain some of the science behind it? Because I know you've researched this quite a bit.
Well, the holosync itself is really like, a workout to improve the structure of your nervous system. And that's why I was going for the brain stuff. And then while the areas I can finally now remember, calms the areas that are responsible for stress, procrastination, and impulsive behaviors. So inappropriate behaviors. Still works.
Yeah.
Um, and anything that I have become to call empowered self-care tools are the things that basically work in that level of operation. Something that you can do as a pose, a type of breathing, an activity, a small little segment activity that neurochemically moves you from working in your lizard brain, your reactive brain, to actually going up into your higher executive function and truly processing information. And what one of the particular things I came across as far as documentation of why this is really works is something as far as a synopsis of looking at all the many different studies was something that the annual review of psychology said, which was that emotional overwhelm causes challenges in our clear mental processing. Taming our emotional overwhelm in crisis must become your top priority. Doing this unlocks the ability to gather and organize your thoughts. So if we don't do this, we can't even get to that point. We have to do this to get to the point of organizing our thoughts. And the greater control that you have over your emotional chaos, the greater access to whatever personal problem solving skills you have. And these self-care tools, these empowered self-care tools that I talk about are what become your and elevate and install personal problem solving skills.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that because I can think back like, and everybody can do this. And I practice this stuff. So you're right. You have to do it on a regular basis. But
Yes.
even people that do it will find, like, when you got that devastating news that you have metastatic breast cancer, like you said, you took your couple of minutes and just kind of stressed out, but then this automatically started kicking in and you were able to start moving forward. So it's almost like your brain gets rewired so that it just bypasses that freak out point.
Exactly. And in the case of holosync and another thing called paraliminals, it does this without me having to call it up.
Right.
Meditation can be kind of in both camps where you need to call it up. But if you are practicing it successfully regularly, then it will help you access getting to the meditation faster, but you're going to still need to call it up.
You still got to say, I'm going to meditate. Like, meditation doesn't just kick in on, like, oh, I'm stressed out, and my brain automatically goes into meditation.
Exactly, which is why I love the holosync and doing paraliminals. And there's an entire vast library of paraliminals. They are about 20 minutes each, as are some of the holosync things that are available. So you could approach it for different things in life. You want to improve your memory. You want to not procrastinate. You want to be more productive in a day. You want to be able to fall asleep well and wake up easily. A whole variety of things. So they have the different recordings in them, and they are layers of tones. They are layers of paraliminals of specially crafted music. They are binaural and at different levels. But they also have holosync in it, which is another reason I love it, because I'm all about the holosync.
Right.
And the fact that they're there and I don't have to call them up is wonderful. But there are a couple of others that we had talked about before that don't take even 20 minutes.
Right.
Once you learn the process, one of them will be there for you in less than 2 minutes. It can be there in 90 seconds. Another one can be there in 5 to 20 seconds once you know what to do. And these are things that you need to do to bring it about. But in particularly with one I'll mention is that the fact that if you do it on a regular basis, the access is faster. It's faster than what you get with the meditation. And the one of the process, which I remember you liked, the awe method, it's like a microdosing of mindfulness. It's just so many people have trouble with being in the mindfulness, getting to that point.
Yeah.
So this is something that is easy for anybody to access. And there are a number of researchers that have looked at this relatively new awareness. But the study that I love the most is the one that's in a book called The Power of Awe. Awe is in, AWE.
Right.
And because these gentlemen, a physician who is a chronic pain specialist and then a therapist, they did this through the pandemic with regular people.
Right.
They weren't people they took into a lab and tried to induce things externally. They taught them how to bring it up from within themselves, from their own experiences, from the environment they're in. And that is wholly different. That is ready for you anywhere, anytime, any situation you're in. Like, but before we talked about, as far as like teachers, it's like you get notified that you need to have a meeting with the principal in the next 5 minutes. Like, oh boy, now what do I do?
Right.
Go into the
Right.
corner of your classroom for about 20 seconds and take yourself there, and you're ready.
And I was going to say, even for, just life situations, and I'm thinking of particularly some of my clients or some women that may be listening that are going through divorce. How many times do you find going to your attorney's office is totally stressful? Going into a settlement conference, going into a negotiation, dealing with your kids, any of
Yes,
those things. Just imagine if your brain was already thinking about how to solve the problem rather than all that toxic, oh my
hmm,
gosh, I'm going to get messed over in this deal, and all that flood of negativity we get. What if your
exactly.
brain automatically started looking for solutions? And that's the value of, and Vivianne, I think we talked about the fact that a lot of these are free, right? You don't even have to buy a program or do a course, right?
Well, it's not that a lot of them are free. The laser focus process, which is a process that Dr. Paul Sheely teaches, and he has a free access to an online video course. It's 5 short videos. He gives you one a day for 5 days, and the fifth day brings it together. But then you can go through it again if you want to, if you feel like you need more refinement. But this is different actions, little actions, and types of breathing that, doesn't take you a month to get there. You just do it, that will neurochemically take you to believing you are in a safe place,
Right.
to relaxing you, and then opening you.
Yeah.
You get out of your head and into your body quickly. And when you are in your body, when you're truly present down here, you can't freak out. Up here is
Right.
where you freak out.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what the people have a hard time is getting from here to here, particularly if that's what's going on right then.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
But
want to
this
know what?
way, it can happen.
Yeah, I love that. And do you want to know what I heard? And I thought when I first heard it, and I cannot even remember who said this. So whoever said this to me, I wish I could credit you, but I can't. But they said if you find yourself really stressing out and really freaking out about something, hum, because you cannot hum and also have this constant running monologue in your head. And I tried it and it works. You cannot
Well, and
hum and think at the same.
humming does other things to your body. You are being
Exactly.
with it, and things start vibing around in there, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, okay,
Yeah.
well, this is certainly better than where I was a few seconds
It's
ago.
it's kind of amazing how we can. I think the brain is so fascinating because I think we create these negative thought loops, and then when we get in a crisis, our brain just goes, "Woo, here we go again." And when we use these techniques, whether it's listening, whether it's meditation, whether it's grounding exercises, whatever it may be, you can short circuit that negative cycle really quickly. And the more you practice it, the better you get.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
So when you do your practice, like how much time do you set aside for that? Is it about 20 minutes a day or is it more or less? And do you have to do it every 20 minutes every day?
Well, for me, my holosync, I will do a holosync or a paraliminal pretty much every day. Now, the laser focus, I will do multiple times a day. Like when I have a workshop that I'm in, long day, many hours of working, and there's a break here, break there. I'm going to do some laser focus process or an awe in those breaks, because that just opens me up more. It doesn't take long. And it's also, they say we should get up at least every 2 hours, move around. You've got an Apple Watch, it tells you every hour, which is fine. But if you get up and you move differently and do this kind of thing, it just brings you back to a better balanced place. You are more open-minded. You are going to learn more, retain more. It is it is something that we did in classes when I was taking from Dr. Sheely. We did that, on the breaks, or even during class. Okay, we're going to get up for a few minutes, and we're going to, drop in with our laser focus again. It made such a difference. I mean, we were doing big junking pieces of information, and
Right.
it makes such a difference. So certain things could do through the day. If you have like low energy in the afternoon, do one of these, the laser focus or an awe method. It will re-energize you. It will bring you down, bring your head freaky down, and get back in your body. Our bodies, as our brains, are extremely amazing. They can do a lot on their own if allowed.
Yes.
The problem is we don't give them the space to do what they can do. We think we're going to figure everything out up here, but if we bring it down, it can start harmonizing with stuff. And so, oh, well, there's too much of this over here and there's not enough of this over there, and reposition, redesign.
Right.
But we don't let it get to that point. If you engage in a regular practice or pop between a couple of practices, but do them regularly, then this will just happen for you.
Yeah. So you have shared a ton of information, and this is so valuable. And I love your idea, your consistent message that we have to start doing this before the crisis happens. Like, we can't wait till we've experienced. We really need to train ourselves. Other than that, which I may have taken your kind of big point here away from you, so I apologize if I did that. What else do you think is really important that people should remember from this conversation?
That to take care of what you want to take care of in your life, be that your earnings, your children, your maturing parents, or your spouse or partner or best friend that's got a hairy problem going on and you want to help them, but you've got so much going on in your life, you do have to take care of yourself properly first before you can take the best care of anyone else. Yeah. There's a reason when we're on the plane that they tell us to put the oxygen mask on a child or someone who's struggling after we have already put it on ourselves. Right. Where when you're a mom or you're in these caregiving situations, you think, no, I got to do this first. No, they could struggle and they fight and you've lost your energy. They don't have their mask on. You don't have the mask on. Everything's bad.
Exactly.
You have to take care of yourself first. Self-care is not selfish. It's one of the most amazing gifts you can give to the people that are in your life, because when you take better care of yourself, you have the bandwidth and the energy to be there in the other aspects of your life and for the other people you love.
Great message. Vivianne, if people want to find out more about what you do or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
They can go to my website, Vivianne Winters Israel. No one's going to remember how to spell that, so I'm imagining that will be in your show notes.
It will be.
I do also have a free downloadable PDF for your audience. It is a list of the top 6 empowered self-care tools that I have come to learn and use. Number 2 on that list is the laser focus process. That one is free. Number 1 on that list is the newest one to me from just early last year, but it is my new favorite. And I believe it will become a household term as people learn this, because there is so much stuff that happens when you can take yourself into an experience of awe, re-engage an experience of awe that you've had before, or connect with something in your environment. The changes in your body, your health, well-being, mental, physical, is amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And there's links to more information on each of those.
I will make sure that gets in the show notes as well. Vivianne, thank you so much for sharing this. And I love our conversations. You know, I'm kind of a science geeky person, so I really enjoy this. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you. I appreciate having the opportunity to get this out to more people. No one should have to go through a crisis without at least one powerful self-care tool.
Thank you for that. And everybody listening in, I want to thank you for being here today and for taking this time to learn a little bit about self-care options. And don't forget to tune in again for the next episode of The D Shift. Thanks for listening and supporting the D Shift podcast. If you would like to attend live trainings by our amazing guests and have a chance to ask questions and get answers from our experts, join the D Shift crew. For more details and to sign up, head on over to www.divorcecoachforwomen and click on the podcast page.